This is how you fly with your dog. Step 1, you open the luggage. Step 2, you put them inside. Step 3, you close the luggage. I'm just kidding. Today I'll be sharing my experience flying with my dog in cabin and pretty much everything you need to know and prepare. So for example, if I'm flying with Korean Air, I will go to Korean Air website and check for all the information related to traveling with pets. So for Korean Air, in order to qualify, the total weight of the pet plus the carrier has to be 7 kg or roughly 15 pounds or less, and the carrier dimensions need to fit the requirements of the airline as well, which in this case, the Korean Air requires the carrier to be no larger than 45 inches and the height to be less than 8 inches in the case of a hard carrier and 10 inches for a soft carrier. So my advice would be trying to buy the carrier way in advance, stick to the dimensions recommended by the airline, and see if your pet can fit comfortably in the carrier and that the total weight is less than the limit. You don't want to risk being rejected by the airline on the day that you need to fly, because that would cause a lot of troubles. By the way, my experience is that try to book the flight ticket and call the customer service to reserve a spot for your pet as soon as possible, because the number of pets allowed on each flight is often limited, so you don't want to leave it to the last minute and risk not having any spot left for your beloved pet. Second, now that you know that your pet is qualified to be in cabin with you, you want to check the requirements of the destination country or city that you're flying your pet to. So the way you do that is you go to the USDA website. For example, if you're flying to Korea, you choose Korea from the list and click on View Requirements. I will see the specific requirements for pet dogs and cats, which include a rabies vaccine for pets over 90 days old, microchip, and a valid health certificate issued by a USDA vet and endorsed by USDA, which I will go over how to actually do it in a minute. However, while we're here, I want to quickly give another example. Let's say instead of Korea, you want to fly to Canada. You see that for pet dogs older than 8 months, proof of rabies vaccination is actually all that you need, and you don't need a health certificate. You should check the requirements that are specific to your case carefully so that you don't have to waste time doing unnecessary tasks or accidentally miss any important requirements. Okay, so let's get into how to get the health certificate and the USDA endorsement if your airline or the place that you're flying to requires one. So the way you do it is you make an appointment with your vet so they can fill out the certificate and sign on it. So if your destination also requires an USDA endorsement, there will be an extra step, and it's important to note that a lot of the times the health certificate is only considered valid for only 10 days after the certificate is issued and endorsed. So you shouldn't do it way too early if that's the case. So for endorsement, you will go to this website. Don't worry, I'll put all the link in the description box for your reference. So you choose your current state and there will be details regarding how to get the endorsement and also the cost. I think the information is pretty clear. So you can just read it carefully and follow the instructions and you should be good. Let's continue with domestic travel within the US. So for domestic travel, the requirements are going to vary from state to state. So you should carefully check the requirements of the state that you're flying your pet to. The way you do it is you Google the state you are flying to plus dog import requirements, and the state agriculture website should be the first thing that pops up. For example, these are the requirements of flying into New York State, which also vary from case to case depending on whether or not the dog is staying here longer than 30 days or if the dog is a New York resident, etc. So again, you want to read the requirements very carefully because, for example, in my case, Cece is a New York resident, so she doesn't need a health certificate to be able to enter New York. So you don't have to waste time or money doing that. Okay, so now the hard part is basically done. If this is your pet first time flying, you should try to train them to be comfortable staying in the carrier before flying in order to avoid creating any unnecessary stress for your pet, and you start by leaving the carrier open for them to go in and out freely on their own, and then you slowly add on by closing the carrier, leaving them there for 5 minutes, and then slowly build the time up. You can also put them inside the carrier and say bring them to a coffee shop outdoor that allow dogs to replicate the environment that your dog is going to be in when flying. So basically, the more they are familiar with staying inside the carrier, the better the flight experience will be for both you and your dog. I also highly recommend this bottled water. The cool thing about this bottle is that if your dog doesn't finish drinking the water, you can press this button and it will go back down again. It's also leak proof. I put the link of the product in the description box. Oh, and when you're flying with your pet, the whole space under your seat in front of you will be fully occupied by your pet already, and there won't be any space left for your personal belonging under the seat. So I highly recommend this type of bag because you can easily fit some of the essential items into this bag, such as your phone, your dog's food, water, poop bags. And the nice things about this bag is that it can be carried in different ways, such as wearing around your waist or across your body like a shoulder bag, making it very convenient to reach for the items that you need during the flight instead of having to constantly reach for the storage overhead to get what you need. And it's small enough that you can wear it pretty comfortably during the whole flight, or store it inside the seat pocket. On the travel day, go to the check-in counter, present all the required documents and pay the fees, and you should be good to go. Oh, and make sure the bottled water is empty before going through the security to avoid being stopped for further checks. Trust me, I've forgotten to do that quite a number of times, and it's not fun. You can always refill the water after passing the security, so before going through the security check, make sure you get your dog out of the carrier, hold your dog in your arms, and put the carrier in the X-ray baggage screening. Oh, and you should try to come earlier than you normally would if you're flying with your pet. Like the other time, I made a mistake of treating it like a normal international flight, and I arrived like 2 hours before the flight. However, I couldn't have the seat that I already reserved in advance because another person who sitting on that row also had a dog, and they don't allow 2 dogs on the same row, so I had to move to another seat because the other person already checked in. I'm okay with that, but it's not ideal if you are usually particular about where you want to sit during a flight or it's a long flight. Also, there might be unexpected problems that arise. It's always good to take extra precaution to arrive earlier when flying with a pet. So if there's any problem, let's say your pet is over the weight limit and they don't allow your pet to fly with you in cabin, you can still have time to resolve it. Okay, so that's everything you need to know when flying with your pet in cabin. I was so stressed out and confused when I first flying with my dog. So I hope this video helps you to be better prepared for the upcoming flight with your pet. Also, let me know if you have any questions, and I try my best to answer all of them. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next time. Bye!